Okay, so now we're moving on. Country number one in the northwest portion of Africa is Morocco. Morocco is only about 10 miles away from Spain, and so it has a lot of Spanish culture. The capital, for example, is Casablanca, which Casa means house and Blanca means white. So it has a lot of Spanish culture, and they've talked about perhaps connecting Europe and Africa together by a bridge or some other way, since it is so close to the Strait of Gibraltar. All right, in the middle, number 9. Number 9 is Niger. Niger will be easy to remember its location because right along Niger is the Niger River. So when we label the physical features, where the river is, you'll know where the country is, or vice versa. All right, the next one, tiny little one in the middle, number 37 is Rwanda. Rwanda is a country that I mentioned earlier about. There's a movie called Hotel Rwanda, and this Hotel Rwanda film is about the true story of the genocide of Rwanda people. When Europe came in and colonized Africa, they drew the map without any regard or any from the African people. And so two tribes, the Hutus and the Tutsis, did not get along at all. Yet they were kind of confined into this one country. And so there was a lot of genocide, which is systematic killing of these groups of people. They would come into villages and burn the villages, kill the men, cut hands off of the boys so that they couldn't fight, rape the women. It was quite a brutal civil war, and so that's what that whole movie Hotel Rwanda is about. All right, number 17 on the west coast is Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is, again, one of the countries that was targeted, if you will, by the Ebola breakout in 2014. Remember, it started in Guinea, but it spread to Liberia and Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, however, had the most deaths from that particular disease in 2014. All right, back over to the East Coast. Number 34. Number 34 is Somalia. Somalia is a country that is kind of well known for two things, and 2 movies were made about it. One was Black Hawk Down, and there is a civil war kind of still going on in Somalia. Not really a civil war, but just political unrest. And there's really no established government, and it's just chaotic. And so the United States tried to bring in some troops to drop in supplies and water and medical things. And the people of Somalia thought we were coming there to invade, so they attacked the American soldiers on one of the helicopters, one of the Black Hawk helicopters, and it was spewed all over the news, the abuse. And I remember vividly seeing on the news one of the soldiers that they killed, that they were dragging through the streets. They were spitting on the dead body and kicking it and throwing things at it, and they were burning American flags. So it was quite an unrest. Even though that wasn't our purpose to be there, their perception was that we were there to take over Somalia instead of just help. The other thing was in 2009, the Captain Phillips scenario where the Somalian pirates came in and took over the cargo ship, and then how Captain Phillips managed to, try to save his crew and so forth. In 2010, actually, a tsunami from Indonesia went all the way across the Indian Ocean, and tall waves affected Somalia as well. All right, in the south, number 46, easy to know, South Africa. Not only is it easy to identify because it's a country in South Africa, southern portion of Africa. We watched Mandela: A Long Walk to Freedom about the apartheid, and again, that apartheid, went on for, several decades, much longer than our civil rights movement of the 60s, and so you kind of got exposed to that whole discrimination by white Europeans that were left over from the colonization. South Africa is also very unique. They have 3 capitals, which is very unique across the world: Cape Town, which is the legislative capital, Johannesburg, which is the administrative capital, and Pretoria, which is the judicial capital. And I think all of those were mentioned in the movie Mandela that we watched earlier. All right, in the middle, just to the east of Central African Republic, is number 55. South Sudan is the newest country in Africa. South Sudan was part of Sudan, which is north of South Sudan, and it was split off in 2011, mostly because there was a genocide that killed over 400,000 people in Sudan and displaced over 2.5 million people, and it started in 2004 and escalated, and some say it's over because the countries have split, and some people say there's still a lot of targeting of that genocide, but that created South Sudan. So then 7, of course, is Sudan, which we just mentioned. And then at the top, number 3 is Tunisia. Tunisia is a country that we will mention when we talk about ancient Rome, because there was an ancient group of people that lived there, the Carthaginians, which were Phoenicians that had settled there, and they attacked the Romans, and they were one of their rivals and so forth. So we'll talk about Tunisia in history, but as far as modern history, they were also a victim to that Arab Spring where there was a lot of political upheaval, like in Egypt, Libya, and then of course Tunisia, and that was in December of 2010. All right, next one. Which one did I don't even know which one colored. Let's see, Uganda. Okay, Uganda's number 31, right north of that light blue one, because that doesn't have a number. That is actually a lake. So 31 is Uganda, north of Lake Victoria. Uganda, again, had another genocide. It seems to kind of be a theme, unfortunately, with Africa. And Idi Amin in the 70s forced all Asians out of their country and gave them 90 days to get out. And of course, that was almost reversed because all the other genocides are Africans, and then this one happened to be targeted against Asians, specifically Indians from India that happened to be there. They wanted them out, or Idi Amin, the leader, wanted them out and said they were bad for their economy and so forth. All right, number 43. Number 43 is towards the south. That is Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is, again, a country that maybe you knew, or at least you've heard of Zimbabwe. Again, its very unique name identifies it as an African country. Zimbabwe got its claim to fame in 2015 when a Minnesota dentist went kind of on a safari hunt he wanted to go big game hunting, and he killed Cecil the lion. People were saying, he said it was set up for him, and it was, part of he paid for this particular big game hunt. Some of the people said, it wasn't even a hunt because, he was supposedly protected on this wild game reserve, and so there was a big controversy, and the dentist even lost his practice because people were so up in arms about this. All right, so those are the countries that you need to know. Make sure you study those countries. That doesn't mean that the project you're going to do during this unit won't be about some of the other countries. You'll also have to know your own country that you do your project on. So it happens to be one of these 24 countries, then great. If not, you'll also have to know where that particular country is located on your map.